Okay guys, 9.4, example number 6, challenge problem. I believe this is also on your online homework, so honestly, I'd probably ask you to stop the video right now and try to do this problem on your own. And then if you either get stuck or think you've got it, come back to this video and see if we agree. So it says find the perimeter of the figure where AC is 26, AD equals BF. So I'm going to start making some marks here. AD equals BF, and D is the midpoint of AC, which means that's going to be the same. And if the whole thing is 26, then I know that this is going to be 13. I know this is going to be 13, and I know this is going to be 13. And we have to find the perimeter of the whole thing, which is the distance around the outside. Okay, so why don't we start with this guy over here that I'm going to outline in red. First of all, I'm looking at the 50-degree angle. If I go to the opposite side, I'm looking at a 13. If I go to the adjacent side, I'm just going to, for right now, mark that with a little x. So tangent of 50 degrees is opposite over adjacent. And that's just going to find me that little x. I'm going to put this over 1. I'm going to cross multiply. 13 times 1, 13 equals x times the tangent of 50 degrees. Now in this particular example, we do not have x by himself yet, so we have to divide by the tangent of 50, divide by the tangent of 50. So 13 divided by the tangent of 50 equals x, and then grab your calculator. 13 divided by tangent 50, I'm getting like 10.908. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to say let's round everything to the nearest whole number. So I'm going to round that to 11. So come back up here, get rid of that. I'm going to make that 11. And then I'm going to circle that because that's part of my perimeter. I'm also going to circle this 13 because that's part of my perimeter. I'm not going to circle this 13 because it's not, and I'm not going to circle that 13 because it's not. But then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look at that distance. If I'm still focused on that little red triangle, I know 13, I know 11, I know it's a right triangle. I can just use the Pythagorean theorem. So 13 squared plus 11 squared equals x squared. Let's see, 13 squared plus 11 squared is 290. And then take the square root of both sides. Square root. I'm getting 17.02. So roughly, I'm going to say x is 17. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to get rid of that. And there's another part of my perimeter. Okay, moving on. Now I'm going to go look at this guy and see what we can figure out. I'm hoping I can probably find AB there because that's really, I mean, other than this little part down here, we'll deal with that in a little bit. That's really the only part of my perimeter of that thing. So 35 degrees, opposite side, cross the triangle, x, adjacent side, whole blue thing. So 13, 13, 26. So I'm thinking tangent of 35 equals x over 26. Stick this over 1. X equals 26 times the tangent 35. Grab your calculator. 26 times tangent 35, control enter, 18.2, so 18. Now, once again, if I'm looking at the blue triangle that I have outlined here, I've kind of got all of my sides. So I've got 13, 13, 18, and I don't know the hypotenuse, which I don't need the whole hypotenuse, but eventually I'm going to need this part down here. So I'm thinking maybe I want to find that whole thing. In order to do that, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem again. So I'm going to do, let's see, 18 squared plus 26 squared equals x squared. So 18 squared plus 26 squared is 1,000. And then we're going to square root that. And I'm getting 31.6, so roughly 32. So I know this whole side right in here is 32. And I'm just going to hold on to that for right now. I don't really need it, but I'm going to keep it there for when I do. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to circle my 18 because that's my part of my perimeter. And then I'm going to move on to maybe this guy. And see if I can find anything over there. I'm looking at this. I know this is 90. And if I'm going to do any of this, I know I'm going to need a reference angle. So I'm going to start thinking about those angles. Okay, so do you guys see these little marks in here? That little mark, that little mark, that little mark? Those mean congruent. So if I find this angle, I also know that angle, and I also know that angle. In the blue triangle, do you see the 90-degree angle? Do you see the 35-degree angle? All angles in a triangle add to 180 degrees, so 90 minus 35. I know that the angle sitting right up here is 55 degrees, which means this angle is 55 degrees, which means this angle is 55 degrees. And I know the 13 right here, so I could try to find the opposite from this 55, opposite, adjacent. So tangent of 55 equals x over 13. And then over 1, cross multiply. X equals 13 times the tangent of 55. And then calculator, 13 times the tangent, 55, 18.5, so 19. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to put 19. I'm going to circle that. And then so now I'm looking at these two triangles, and I've got an angle that's the same, I've got a side that's the same, I've got an angle that's the same, so angle, side, angle, which means, what about those two triangles? And I really hope you're thinking, oh, they're congruent. So if that's 19, I'm not going to waste my time. I know this is 19. And then I'm going to need to find that hypotenuse. So once again, I know the 13, I know the 19, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. 13 squared plus 19 squared equals, this is what I'm going for, so x squared. 13 squared plus 19 squared is 530. And then take the square root of that. 23.02, so 23. So I know right here is going to be 23. Which also means right here is going to be 23, because same hypotenuse. Now, if I start looking at my shape, I've got the 17, I've got the 18, I've got the 23, I've got the 19, I've got the 19, I've got the I don't know. I need CG. So, do you guys remember this whole blue line? 32. And then just this part, 23. So right there, 32 minus 23. See, I told you we would need that number. I'm getting 9. So I got the 19, I got the 19, I got the 9, I got the 13, I got the 11. Add them all up. So I'm going to start with 17 plus 18 plus 23 plus 19 plus 19 plus 9 plus 13 plus 11. 129 units. And there you go.